What is happening, Magnusites? Let's watch this. This is doing very well. So I know she has given Disney and Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm a piece of her mind. I've been watching Snarky J for months now. She's damn good. More importantly, she's one of us. Wonder what her real name is. Was it Jaylene? Is it Jaylyn? Is it Jane? Every time I hear J with a girl's name, well, let's put it this way. I worked with a chick named Sarah J. Butler on a movie, and the jokes just wrote themselves. So whenever I hear J in a woman's name now, I guess I've been ruined by the industry. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Let's check this out, though. Let's see what she has had to say. Actually, spoke to her a few weeks ago. She had a couple of questions about a reaction she was doing. So, yeah, she seemed pretty cool. Let's get it.
According to Kathleen Kennedy, the Star Wars fan base is now toxic, as radioactive as Chernobyl, and twice as ugly as anything inside.
Wait a minute.
Hail, Snarky J. Chernobyl and twice.
Damn it, man.
Toxic as
Lucas said women and oh, yeah, that quote.
Chernobyl and twice as ugly as anything inside.
The elephant's foot.
Hail, Snarky J cosplay here. We live in a society that loves inclusivity, but for some reason also really prioritizes putting labels on everything. All for the purpose of separating us into increasingly more marginalized groups so that we can all play that "you can't criticize me, I'm this" card. And over at the House of Mouse, where the daily chore is desecrating the ever-rotting corpse of Star Wars and its legacy, nobody likes labels.
They're beating this dead horse, ain't they? They are totally desecrating the carcass of Star Wars and Marvel, pretty much. Marvel's on its deathbed, and they straight up injecting poison into the drip.
Labels more than Kathleen Kennedy, Leslie Headland, and all the other shills that work every day incredibly hard to make Kathleen's view of the Force come true. The Force is female, nerds are gay, the Star Wars fanbase is toxic and male-dominated, Star Wars fans are embarrassing for having opinions, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And we talk about this a lot here. Well, I talk about this a lot here, but
We talking about it a lot here on our home, planet Earth.
Thought, you know what, instead of ranting, why don't I do something productive, and instead, today, craft a letter to Kathleen Kennedy, her supporters, and Disney shills everywhere about the truth about Star Wars fans, and see if maybe, just maybe, somebody will stop insulting, stop slapping labels, and actually listen. But
So that means that she wrote this. She really did write this. You know me, I'm off the cuff all the time. I never write a script. But I think I did see a video of hers where she talked about did she write the script. So you know this is going to be well thought out. So this should be interesting.
now, dear Kathleen Kennedy, on May 25th, 1977, one of the greatest franchises of all time was born.
And one of the greatest men on this planet to ever live was born.
Back then, it was just called
77.
And
Not
it
that
wouldn't be
date,
known
but
as
77.
A New Hope, which is what Star Wars became for a lot of us, until 1979. 46 and a half years ago, people lined up in droves to watch and experience something they'd never seen before.
I'm wondering what the media, the marketing was all like, because people lined up to see this. So it must have been talked about like it was something like none other. You know what I mean?
A new up-and-coming space opera that would literally change the course of history forever, and would also give birth to something new. The Star Wars fan. The Star Wars fan can't be easily described physically. Since 1977, the Star Wars fan has spoken every language under the sun, has been everywhere you can imagine, is black, white, every color. Some famously have male parts, some...
Look at all the colors. Look, both genders. Look, different cultures. Told you we've been diverse for a very long time.
Some famously have lady parts and some, well, we're not entirely sure.
Alien
but
parts.
The Star Wars fan, most importantly and above all, has always been passionate about Star Wars. After all, fan is short for fanatic for a reason. The Star Wars fan has raved about The Empire Strikes Back and lambasted George Lucas for the inclusion of Ewoks in Return of the Jedi.
I agree. Listen, that was the first one I went to see as a child in the theaters. I loved the Ewoks. Love them. To this day, I still love them. And I get it, I guess, with going with the more serious tone with The Empire Strikes Back and then jumping in here. And then you seeing the little cute teddy bears, I guess that threw people off. But I'm fine with them.
Star Wars fan has ranted about midichlorians, but raved about the beauty of that final battle in Revenge of the Sith. We blew up YouTube when that first trailer for
Yes,
episode
we
7
did.
dropped.
It is responsible. My reaction to that trailer is responsible for my channel blowing up, growing by thousands every single day. I remember it growing at one point when I checked, and I don't know if it was ever higher or lower, but I just remember specifically it being 3,000 plus every day at that point. It was a great time.
And we cried in theaters when somehow was enough of an explanation for how Palpatine returned. And yes, our criticisms are passionate and plentiful.
Yes, they are.
Need to be. For the thousands of Star Wars-focused creators on YouTube, there are millions of fans all around the globe who also have their own criticisms and their own voices. They're just maybe a little more camera shy than the rest of us.
That's true.
And that, Kathleen, seems to...
And those are the ones who we speak for. There are several of us with different personalities and different perspectives. And these people flock to our channels to watch silently and nod their heads and agree and punch the air if need be. That rhymed to play the game. Bars! Some of them comment. Some of them don't. And some of them are inspired by us sitting here in our offices, spilling our hearts out to Disney and the other companies, telling us how much we love a product or how much we hate a product. But yes, we are voices for the voiceless that are too shy, too timid to speak out loud or even type on a keyboard about how they feel. But we help give those people a little bit of relief to know that we've got their backs and that we want great entertainment again too.
To be the problem here is that because Star Wars fans are once again using their voices and now being heard en masse, we're being labeled as something we're not. The Acolyte has been stirring up Star Wars drama like...
Can't turn on the people who made you. You cannot turn on the people who made you, okay? You can't start calling us racists and that we're transphobes and istophobes, all this other stuff, just because we don't like how you have been doing what you're doing, okay? The majority of the fans love everyone, and we don't have a problem with you, whether it be your sexuality, your culture, your race, or your gender. We don't care. We just want good entertainment that is fundamentally sound to the product. Mark Hamill once said that he disagreed with Rian Johnson fundamentally with how he was taking this character, Luke Skywalker, in a different direction.
It's nobody's business. With its outspoken Weinstein-loving creator, Leslie Headland, its poorly written script, and its...
Leslie Headland ain't gonna never live that down. Like, I don't even talk about it because I'm more focused on just, damn it, give me some good entertainment. But people be, wait. This is the word that the LGBTQ community use. They be dragging her, honey. You getting dragged right now on the internet, Leslie. Don't go on Twitter, baby. Don't go on it.
Canon-breaking.
Dragging her
Star
for
Wars
that.
Fans are speaking out about the Acolyte in droves. And in my perspective, the squeaky wheel always gets the grease, right? The people...
You know what's weird? Back in the day, it would be okay for me to play a gay man on a TV show, right? But now it's not because I'm straight. However, it's okay, and it's been okay, for gay people, LGBTQ community, to play straight people on TV. And that wasn't like, people weren't saying, no, what? They're not straight. No, we need to get a straight person to play this so it's more authentic.
People speak, call for change, and change happens. Whining historically has always been a great problem solver. After all, don't we very clearly live in a world where a vocal minority has a chokehold not just on corporations and brands, but on politicians, the media, and society as a whole? So why then, when Star Wars fans speak, are we labeled toxic? Any complaints about script, canon, performance, plot, they're all pushed away and deemed invalid. But why? Clearly the average Star Wars fan is not the sci-fi loving nerd it once.
I remember when Dave Chappelle was talking about, you know, when they call somebody crazy in the media. He said, you know, these people aren't crazy. It's dismissive what you're doing. It's dismissive when they're calling us isophobes. They're trying to say something's wrong with us. So they don't know what they're talking about. They're a bunch of racists and bigots, and don't pay attention to them. False, okay? If anything, we love the product way more than anyone else on this planet. We care the most about it. And you're destroying it to us. So we're speaking on it.
The average Star Wars fan is now a toxic, woman-hating, racist, old, white man, crusading under the black banner of well-known Star Wars creators like The Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic, and Star Wars Theory. The Star Wars fanbase surely still isn't filled with folks from different walks of life, gender identities, races, religious ideologies. Surely all the Disney Star Wars dissenters are racist, toxic, old, white men, and the minorities you and everybody at Disney claims to represent are all united by a diverse hive mind that tells them that Disney Star Wars is the next best thing since sliced bread. Well, Miss Kennedy, I'm afraid to tell you that you and your criticisms of this fan base are entirely wrong. Much like how when
Wrong.
you get married, you also marry your in-laws. When Disney acquired Star Wars in 2012,
Don't judge!
a passionate one, so incredibly and insanely dedicated to the galaxy far, far away that it is the only fan base that has really developed an entire elite costuming group with rules and an approval process just to play dress up. You, Kathleen Kennedy, and every other box-checking innovator at Disney, you should have known what you were getting into, and my theory is you did know what you were getting into.
Yeah.
And yet, through all of our support...
I think, you know what I think? I think that they knew they were gonna ruffle feathers, but they did not know just how hard the fans would fight back against this. They did not know just how united the fans would become because of what they're doing to this product. They found out. Bud Light found out. Target found out. Other companies found out.
All of our well-spent
Some of y'all are still effing around and finding out.
money and all of our very valid criticisms, you villainized us. If we hate diversity, why did we love Lando Calrissian? And why were we upset when Finn, played by a black man, John Boyega, was hidden on Chinese posters for The Force Awakens, and you were happy to let that happen as long as the Chinese market was lining your pockets? If we hate women, why do we still worship our princess, Princess Leia? And why did we rave about her development from princess to general? Why did we love Padme Amidala? What about how we fell in love with Ahsoka Tano in the Clone Wars animated series? What about how we showed up in droves to watch Rogue One, a movie that was led by a female hero, Jyn Erso, and we made that movie over $1 billion? If we're the ones that hate women so much, why did you fire Gina Carano for expressing opinions you didn't agree with?
She's killing y'all right now.
So old white and male, how do you explain creators like myself who are consistently outspoken against the actions of Disney Star Wars? If we're the racist and bigoted ones, why do you seem to think that all minorities, blacks, Asians, Hispanics, Latinos, etc., why do you feel that minorities have to be united in their love for Disney Star Wars? Is it because you think that their non-whiteness overpowers any individuality and ability to think for ourselves?
That's a good point.
Isn't that the foundation for bigotry? Labeling people you don't agree with and then villainizing them for those labels and their opinions? How should we
She's killing y'all.
love and support Star Wars when you're turning it into the planet-destroying empire we've been rebelling against since 1977? You, in your Force is Female t-shirt and your Mickey Mouse ear headband, have taken a franchise that we have known and loved for almost 50 years, that we have kept alive with fan fiction, with novels, with comics, with homemade costumes and adoration, and you have told us that not only does it not belong to us, but we are now bigots for not liking the direction that you've taken it in. You've taken our valid criticisms have thrown them out the window in favor of insulting us. You have decided that your main audience is no longer the right audience, but blame us.
Make sure y'all make this go viral. She's already close to 100,000 views on this. And make sure you subscribe to her and hit the bell. I'm going to give her early round of applause on this. There's a lot of stuff we've all been talking about. She put it all in one video very eloquently. You're doing good, girl. You're going to be just fine. You got the rub from the Mag Man. Go out there and get him, kiddo.
When your projects fail, you have told us this is not for you. And when we have canceled Disney Plus and moved on to greener pastures, you have called us bigots, ists, and phobes for not buying into your product. Unlike The Mandalorian once said, this is not the way. This is, however, the way that you tank one of the greatest franchises of all time. By destroying the legacy of characters like Luke and Leia Skywalker, Han Solo, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and more, to make room for your new ones, you destroy our interest in the Star Wars name. By laying waste to the canon established by the original trilogy and the prequels, you lay waste to our belief in Star Wars as a concept. By insulting our identities and labeling us the villains in your story, you insult our individuality, and you inspire us to label ourselves something much worse to your bottom line than toxic, and that is apathetic. For as awful as we are, we keep the lights on.
That word has been running rampant since the Acolyte release.
Angry white men you claim you don't want to cater to anymore, we, the apparently angry toxic old white men, are what you need to be able to take that 12th European vacation with your husband this year. Without us, there is no Star Wars. Label us all you want, but the day toxic Star Wars fans stop caring enough to be toxic, the franchise dies. And the more you continue to desecrate
and it's on life support right now,
the more you continue to insult this once passionate, loving fan base, the closer you get to the eventual death of Star Wars being met with thunderous applause. So heed well, Kathleen and all others in your...
And that'll happen. To get to the point where the fans no longer care and they hate it so much, they will thunderously applaud when it finally dies.
You might think we're toxic, and to a certain extent we might be, but above all, we're passionate, and even more than that, we're necessary. And that's all from me. I've been Snarky J. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. For more Snarky J, tune in on Twitch every Tuesday and Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. EST. You can also check out my Instagram.
I didn't know you
gamed. Like to support me, this channel, and my content creation, do check out and consider subscribing to my Patreon for exclusive content and photo shoot sets. I will add links to all of those in the description below, and let me know your thoughts on my letter to Kathleen Kennedy.
You know this question is coming. Do you have an OnlyFans? Do you sell feet?
In the comments.
Woo! You killed it, Snarky. You killed it. You killed it. Guys, she just killed him. She just... And we've all been saying it. We've all been saying it. Several of us have been killing them. She's new on the scene. She just showed she belongs. And she knows what she's talking about. Post comments down below. Let me know what y'all thought. If you enjoyed my reaction and thoughts, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. And I will see you all later. 10 million subscribers. Woo!